So, hello and welcome everybody. For those of you that I haven't met yet, my name is Liz. I'm one of the co-founders of Club Ichi, and every month we do these 7-minute demos. It's one of my favorite things to do because I love to know all about new technologies that are out in the world. But also, I realize my eyelids get a little droopy after about 7 minutes of hearing a demo. So, what we decided to do was put together these 7-minute demos so that we can hear all about some new technology and then have another 3 minutes or so to ask questions and to learn more about the tech and give everybody an opportunity to see some new stuff out there. So we do record this. We put it in our Club HE YouTube channel for the folks that can't be here live with us, so that everybody has access to it. So today, Meg King with Virtual Experiences, Michael, let me see you say your name right, Balyasny.
Perfect. Spot on.
Amazing. With Highbar and Anka. And then you said someone else, Emmanuel, is joining you with, I don't know what you're showing us, the AI Task Manager. Was this the thing you created during the hackathon?
That's right.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's go.
I'm so excited about
That's
these.
amazing.
Okay, this is a great lineup. So, Anka, can I bring you up first? Let's see this thing.
I was actually looking forward to be the last one so I can
Okay,
see
well,
what
I can
these
put you in the end.
pros are doing.
Okay, you want to go last?
It's funny because Michael, we worked together on a different proposal for an event, and I know his demo, but I want to see what he does differently this time. So like, leave me last, leave me last.
Yes, ma'am. All right, Michael, you've been nominated.
All right. Let's do it.
Bring the high bar. Let's see it. I'm going
Okay.
to turn on the
Try to
seven
set it
minute
as high as
timer
I can.
and you take it away.
Okay. Let me figure out the screen sharing bit.
You're up. It looks good.
Great. So the first thing I'll just say is hi, I'm Michael, the founder of Highbar. I previously founded a company called Attendify, which
Oh,
powered over 10,000 events for over 10 million attendees. I did that for about a decade. The company was acquired by Hopin in 2021. And that was a fun journey, a lot of ups and downs. And I felt a real sense of kind of unfinished business. And also, nobody had kind of done what Attendify was doing, which is a really simple, easy to use, cost effective, transparent mobile app platform. And then all of these AI opportunities came up, and that only furthered the motivation to go out and do something and build something new and unique. And I'll start with the app, and then we'll dive into the back end a
perfect.
little bit. So, the first thing to know is that High Bar really tries to bring a level of personalization that been done before, but keep it incredibly simple. So, the first thing you see when you load one of our apps is a curated experience that starts to make recommendations for attendees right off the bat. We don't need anything more than your first name, last name, company, title, and we can begin to make recommendations for people to network with. And for every recommendation, we're giving you a reason why we made that recommendation so that your attendees can decide to take action or to skip an opportunity. And as you do more in the app, as you engage with the content, as you engage with other attendees, we're learning from those interactions. We're updating the matches on an ongoing basis, and we're trying to be more and more supportive of your attendees without the organizer having to do really anything at all. So you open the app, the recommendations are sitting there for you. You can, of course, decide whether you want session recommendations or speaker recommendations. You can turn these things on and off if they're not a fit for your specific event. But we are making this experience just really easy for all involved. So you can see some of the recommendations here. And as an attendee, you can also set up your own recommendations as well. So you can just chat with the agent, and the agent will find matches specific to your goals. All of these things you see on the home screen of the app are totally customizable. So you can add featured speakers, you can add content from your app's activity stream, featured sponsors, sponsored posts, AI topic summaries. There's so much built in here. And then when you click the button on the bottom right-hand corner, you can also engage with our chatbot. And this chatbot concierge can answer any question about your event based on the content you've uploaded. So your schedule, your speakers, your sponsors, your maps, all of that gets absorbed by the agent, by the chatbot automatically. And then you can ask questions like, what's the Wi-Fi password? I'm interested in AI and events. What session should I see? And everything is linked together. So if it's recommending a session, you can tap on that session and you can see that session description right here without ever leaving the chatbot and really engage with all of the content in a really simple, intuitive way where attendees can just ask and get answers. But it's also a fully featured event app. So we're not asking you to go with an AI only approach. We've got everything built in here. We have a community with all of your attendees with media rich profiles that they can update. We've got our activity stream, which has photos, messages, likes, comments. We're just about to add stories, hashtags, mentions. Polls are coming to the activity stream in the next week. So there's a private social network built in. And of course, your more traditional event app features, which power all of the AI features. They work sort of hand in glove, which is really wonderful. So to show you a little bit of the back end here, what's really, I think, also sets Highbar apart is the fact that it is a completely DIY platform. So you can come in here, start creating your app, and the workflow for creating the app is entirely step by step. And as you go through the workflow, you see a live preview as you build. So when you're uploading icons, logos, cover images, you see that right here in the browser. When you're customizing the chatbot, you can see that chatbot's, the welcome message. If I change the name to Michael or something like that, it'll refresh and it'll show me exactly how that appears. Your FAQs, your toolkit, all your content, what you see is exactly what you're going to get, and you can dive into any of these features, click around in the app. This is your app. You're building it in real time and uploading the content. You can bulk import. We have some integrations that you can leverage as well. And then this is where you could customize that start page that I spent a lot of the app demo on, where every single section of it is modular. You can choose which speakers to feature, you can choose which sponsors to feature, sessions, and you can add sections, banners, sponsored posts, you name it. We have a ton built in here, so you can make the app completely your own, upload your attendee list, and you're good to go. And again, we have a couple of integrations that you can leverage too. So very easy to create, very easy to manage. And then once you're in the management experience and you've published your event, you have a ton of real-time analytics and full control of what people are asking on the chatbot, push notifications, managing the activity stream and moderating that content. There's way too much to go over. I'm not gonna just, throw features at you, but it is so intuitive. It's so easy. You're in full control. And all of the pricing for this is outcome based. So you pay for verified, validated engagement. So the way we charge is you pay $5 per engaged attendee, and that's someone who's had 5 meaningful interactions in the app, not just downloaded it, not just opened it, not just set up their profile, but viewed the schedule, made a connection, something that really furthers their goals and makes the event a success for them. So we really are aligning this to outcomes, and we think that's the future of
Is fascinating.
software.
When you first mentioned
Uh,
outcomes-based pricing, I was like, oh, how would that even work? This is fascinating. Okay, couple of questions for you then.
Yeah.
Speakers and people recommendations. How do you match those? Is it based on LinkedIn profile? Is it like a wizard? Does it come from a profile you complete?
Yeah, so it comes from the content that you upload, your attendee list. which can be as a full, we have tons of profile fields, or as sparse as just first name, last name, company, position. It's amazing what the AI can do just knowing what your role is at an organization and what stage your organization is at. Is it a small business? Is it a large enterprise? We can infer a lot and start making quality recommendations just with that data. But the more you upload, the bio, any social media profiles, we try to use everything that we have access to, as well as their activity within the app, to infer what their goals are. But then they can also set their goals. I can say, hey, I'm Michael, I'm a startup founder, I'm looking for mentors, or I'm looking for advisors or investors or whatever I might be aligned with my goals. I can set that myself.
Awesome. Is it an app or is it web-based?
It's a progressive web app. So when you go to install it, you have a landing page like this. You can install it on your device. You can use it in the browser as well. It works beautifully on every device. It supports push notifications. There's really no reason, and in fact, there's plenty of risks why you wouldn't want a native app in the App Store, because last minute updates can be a real problem. We probably submitted well over 10,000 apps with my last company, and it's just a constant challenge. Progressive web apps are the way to go. There are zero trade-offs.
Amazing. And what I didn't see is event registration. So is this a post registration, now download the app, everything else happens thing, or does it have a registration component?
It doesn't have a registration component yet, but that's something we're working on pretty actively right now. So
Yeah.
it will soon.
Amazing. And so for now, then do you use another registration and then basically you send the notifications out once people have registered to say download the app, all the stuff's here.
Exactly. And you can bulk import all your attendees. We have a couple of integrations, and we're always happy to build integrations with other reg vendors, because that just helps the next customer that is also using that tool. So we knock those out all the time.
That's awesome. And then the push notifications, can they be scheduled in advance, or are they just kind of announcements that go when they need to go?
Yeah, they can be scheduled in advance, and they can also be targeted to specific content. So
Ah,
if you want the push notification to deep link into a session, into a speaker, into a sponsor, you can target those as well.
spectacular. Amazing. Michael, this was fantastic. Thank you so much for the demo.
Awesome.
If you will hang out with us, then when we get to the end, we can invite other questions to come up.
Awesome. Thank you. This was
Yay.
fun.
Thank you so much. All right, Meg, are you ready for us?
I'm ready.
Oh
Thanks.
boy. All right, Meg, what you got?
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Meg. I am the Senior Director of Experiences here with Virtual Experiences. So while we are not truly an event tech platform at all, we're not in tech. We work with tons of different tech companies. And Liz, thank you for making space for us today,
Of
because
course, this is your opportunity. Share it all.
we are really focused on virtual experiences. So, that being said, my background, I have been at Virtual Experiences for the last 5 years, but next month will mark 20 years in the event space. So it's been quite a journey from the Jersey Shore at a small hotel all the way through the hotel event side of things. And then, like I said, landing here at VX 5 years ago. We are a small women-owned, and we like to say women-powered business based out of Northern Virginia. Yeah, thanks, Sarah. We've been in concept for about the last 6 years or so, coming out of the pandemic, as probably no surprise to most of you, but really have grown to be leaders in this space in particular, really due to our white glove approach to virtual experiences. I'm going to pull up my slides here. Okay, am I doing okay screen wise?
It looks great.
Awesome. Okay. So I am going to move on. So we basically have two pillars to what we do here at VX. The first and foremost, most important part of what we do is we work with celebrity talent to lead our experiences. So at any given time, there's 50 experiences on the platform that's culinary, baking, boozy, mindfulness, creative. And we work with celebrity talent for a couple of reasons. One, of course, it's always nice to have a recognizable name or face when you're hosting an event. But second, and really more important to that, particularly in the virtual space, is working with folks that are highly engaging on camera. So the folks that we work with are generally featured on Food Network, on Bravo TV. Some of them have their own shows running on Discovery Plus. And I say that to say they're great on camera. They're great at encouraging engagement from a quieter crowd of engineers to, you know, keeping the momentum and the flow on track and on target with a group of marketers or sales folks. But super important and really a key to what VX does. We own the relationship and the partnership with all of these talent members. We have a talent management team that owns that relationship. So while they might do other things on their own, their relationship with VX and their virtual spaces is unique to our company here. In terms of pricing, it's a flat $1,000 fee for all of our experiences, and that covers the celebrity talent for the hour. And they work in partnership with a production host. So always two folks from our team on for the duration. Majority of our experiences are an hour. So I say that, although I have a couple shorter, a couple longer. So you have a production host that's there to facilitate any of the tech and the fun stuff. And then, of course, the celebrity talent there to focus on the recipe that they've created. I wanted you to see just a quick clip of these guys.
Let's go ahead and grab our ingredients.
That's what this is.
Sauce. Of course, you're gonna need your tomato, your Heinz tomato. And these bottles are ancient. The glass bottles, like, but they hands together and press it, like just press it, and it should that suction will release, and you can open it up really easy. So my wife is always like, "Can you open this?" I showed her that trick, and now she doesn't have to do it as much. She just pop it and it comes right off. So it's a little tip right there.
3 tips.
So that takes care of the spirit. Next up will be our sweetness. We take 3 ounces of lemonade into the shaker glass. Now, one of the great things about this cocktail is you've got lemonade, you've got bourbon, we're gonna add a little bit of bitters to this. It says a dash of bitters. So what I want you to do is take your dropper here, and we're going to do 2 full drops of bitters.
Thank you all for allowing me to come into your home virtually or your offices and do some apple cider donuts. Are you excited? I am, because I love apple cider donuts. Okay. All right, y'all. Look at that, honey. Oh my goodness.
I think it's important to see those guys in action for a few reasons. That last chef there is Chef Jess. She's just one of my absolute favorites. She is a pastry chef based out of the DMV. Obviously has incredible energy. She's Dessert Wars champion, national champ multiple times. She recently did a baking challenge competition show focused around Harry Potter, like just so fun, amazing energy and engagement. But the second component to what we do, and equally as crucial, is our kits. So we curate, each chef curates their kit based on the recipe and their expertise. At this point, 5-6 years into the game, we have almost all of our 50, 60 plus kits are all inclusive. We've noticed that's an absolute key when it comes to attendance, particularly in the virtual space. If you're sending someone a shopping list of 10 ingredients they have to go out and get, whether this is a client event or a team event, they're not likely to do that. We are busy people, and that's a lot to add onto someone's plate. So a fully inclusive kit, that means tools, unique ingredients, and highest quality when it comes to packaging and presentation. And then, of course, branding opportunities. So we handle all of our branding in-house at our Northern Virginia warehouse. We can do everything from custom box interior to branding on all of the fun glassware, aprons, unique kitchen tools. Bottom right hand there, that's what we would call like a brand explosion moment. So all the bells and whistles. And then in terms of pricing on our kits, pretty straightforward. We start just under $100 per kit on the low end, and then upwards of $300, $350 when we're talking heavy booze, heavy branding. Like I said, all the bells and whistles there. Pricing does include domestic shipping. We do ship internationally, but of course that is additional. And we can get into the nitty-gritty details of that if and when it applies. Super important just knowing like why we're different than some of the other vendors out there. I think most importantly is we're not a marketplace. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but we own the entire relationship, from the relationship with the talent members, the production hosts, our staff, the curating of the kits. Not only is this important from a relationship with our clients and customers, but from a quality perspective all the way through. We have hands on every step of the process. It's critically important to all of us on the team, but most importantly to the owner of the company. Couple different categories that our customers fall into. Generally for external events, we're working with marketing teams, particularly field marketers, but that's truly expanded quite a bit over the years. So ABM teams, growth teams, small and large across the board. And then on the internal side, of course, generally making connections from HR, people, teams. But the unique and fun thing about VX is you can just be a team leader. You can lead an ERG and connect with me or go on our website and plan your event really, really quickly and easily based on what your team is most interested in, and of course availability. Sharing just a few of the larger brands that we've worked with over the years and continue to work with, again, from the internal side of things, getting their teams connected and engaged, but also supporting them for external events, client events, to help from a growth perspective. And then just a couple of ways to get involved. So obviously would love to connect if this rings true for any of you from an internal, external point of view, but we also have opportunities from a referral standpoint as well. So happy to share more on this.
I love it.
Okay. Come by, of course.
Couple questions for you. So you mentioned the global part. So I remember when we were doing these during COVID, we had a heck of a time just in Canada, but you've got all that stuff figured out, right?
Yes. So sorry, Liz. Of course, the lawnmower came right by the window when you started, as it always does.
No, it's perfect. Just talking about the global nature of it, because I know food going globally is always a little bit of a challenge. Cocktails, also sending alcohol around. Are you sending the actual alcohol too, or just the mixers?
We're sending the actual alcohol too. We have a phenomenal partner based not far from our warehouse. So we do have the opportunity to ship to all 50 states currently. Obviously, booze cannot go outside of the country, but we have at any given time, upwards of 20, 25, what we consider internationally friendly experiences and experience kits, meaning that you in Canada would get almost the exact same kit as I get here in Jersey, minus 2 to 3 items, customs dependent.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. Okay. And then hosts. So you've got your celebrity talent, they're up there cooking and all that. So does the company need to provide somebody kind of on the inside to be in the chat and do stuff, or what else happens?
No, ma'am, absolutely. So we own that part of it as well. So every single experience comes with 2 folks from our team. That's the talent. They're going to focus on the recipe, the cocktails, the coffee, what have you. And then the production host. So really, really important. Would love, of course, for you guys to see our hosts in action, but they're there from a pre-planning perspective, a quick 15 minutes where you get a chance to meet them. If we need to tailor our run of show to meet your needs, comes into play a lot more often on the external event side of things when we have some sort of slide presentation, what have you. But they're there for the duration of any experience as well. So they're putting every step of the recipe into the chat box. They're putting up poll and trivia questions throughout to support engagement. They're making that liaison live between the chef who might be, covered in flour if you're making pizza. But so-and-so is like, oh my gosh, I forgot to preheat my oven. What do I do, chef? So always 2 folks from our team.
That's amazing. Okay, one of the biggest pains in the butt that we used to experience was I have to send it to 27 people and then figure out the tracking of it. You have somebody proactively doing that and saying, Bob didn't get his package. What do we do?
Absolutely. So our fulfillment team is fantastic. They're based right out of our warehouse. So they have hands-on from the, receiving your addresses via, which a couple of different ways, but essentially receiving those addresses, processing them, and then flagging for any sort of, deliverability issue, which we try to avoid at all costs due to our timing of how we ship. We aim for delivery 2 to 4 days prior to the experience. Again, that's intentional for attendance purposes, but we own all of that. We prefer not to send a manifest unless you ask, because we really want to have hands on that and proactively reach out, Liz, to say, hey, so-and-so provided a PO box. We can't ship there, something like that.
That's amazing. So, question in the chat, do you rely on the celebrity host to provide the technology for the live stream, or does the host come to a studio that you guys are managing?
All of our production hosts and celebrity talent do it from their respective places. So their professional kitchens, their homes from the production standpoint. We generally work off of Zoom, unless, of course, we're using one of our clients' platforms or their preferred platforms. So when you say we provide the tech, but they're all trained for multiple years now on how to use not only our default Zoom, but all of the leading streaming platforms out there now. So
No, I was just curious because the audio levels in some of the videos that you shared were different levels.
Yeah, I was a little bit hesitant to share that. I think there was like somewhat of when it transferred from a live video then to our marketing team to the download, and then when I asked them to create a snippet. But they handle their own audio. So generally it's two camera angles, and then their own audio. But we try to avoid any sort of speaker, excuse me, not speaker, but any sort of microphone situation live because they are cooking. But all of that generally is covered during a tech check, which is standard 15 to 20 minutes prior to the experience live on whichever link is provided, whether it's ours or our clients.
Very cool. Thank you. And my last question, is it all food and beverage based, or are there like arts and craft options if you can't get the food going?
Yeah, absolutely. We have an entire creative collection. It's led by a phenomenal artist. Her name is Agnes. She does all of our creative experiences, full, separate section here on our website. But she's phenomenal. She's often on site at a lot of the big tech companies out in Palo Alto area. So she really does speak to the audience, whether that's in person or virtually. But definitely creative, coffee, and we're always expanding and doing custom. We just filled out an incredible Lego building experience for one of our top customers. So definitely more to come.
That's amazing. This is fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing it. And you need to meet Eric Burns inside the Club Ichi community because he has a program where he sends Raspberry Pi out to folks. And so they're, doing coding. So they actually teach you don't have to know anything about computers to do it. So maybe that's a collaboration that you guys can go do to help him scale as well.
So cool. I'm going to reach out. Thanks, Liz.
Yeah, this was so great, Meg. Thank you. All right, Anka, let's see.
All right, that was very cool. Okay.
Those were great.
Yeah, I have some ideas like, oh, what else could we do with that? Okay, so I'm gonna share screen really quick here to just start us with our just introduction. Okay, for everyone that doesn't know me, my name is Anka Platon Trifan. I'm the CEO of Trifan Event Productions, woman-owned and operated production company for in-person, virtual, and hybrid events of all sizes. I spent 20 plus years in the world of AV production and event operations, working inside pretty high pressure environments where communication gaps, fragmented systems, and operational chaos can definitely break execution the day of. And that can happen fast and loud, and you know who's to blame. Okay, so I just jumped a bunch of slides here, make sure that I'm on track. Welcome to the AI Task Manager Pro, which is an AI operated productivity hub built for teams that need to move from scattered inputs to a more structured action. And most of the task managers out there, they still assume that work begins inside the program, the task, the project management app, but that is not always how teams operate. Work can start in Slack, it can start in email, it can start in Discord, Telegram, meetings, Teams, quick conversations on the side. So what this platform purpose is to bring all of those different signals into one intelligent hub so then teams can capture, generate, organize, and then act on those tasks without having to constantly copy information from one place to another. Before I jump into the product, here's a quick look at the AI side of the business because, again, the business is operating full time in the AV production world and technology world. But in the last 4 years, we've added the AI power workflows to our operations and supported many of our clients in the event and event production world to do the same. And so we are now what I call an AI native team. We're building AI powered tools, agents, automation platforms designed to help teams manage productivity with less friction. And AI is not just something that we add as a nice feature. It's really a foundation of how we think about workflow design, automation, product development. So the AI task manager started because I was trying to solve a real problem that I kept running into myself. While AI can generate work incredibly fast, most teams still struggle to coordinate, to track, to prioritize, to execute that work across disconnected systems and conversations. So instead of just trying to build another chatbot, I started thinking about what does that look like if it's a system layer designed to help teams manage operational flow inside the tools that they already work. And it did get born. The first iteration of the app was born during the AI hackathon back in September, I believe, that we ran in Club Ichi. And it looks completely different than what it used to do that, but that was really the seed that planted this. Okay, so right now the AI Test Manager is our flagship product for now. It uses Gemini LLM to generate complete task breakdowns from a single project prompt in seconds. Also, joining me today is my developer, Emmanuel. Say hi, Emmanuel, who has been actually taking this app and bringing it to where it is right now. Um, I
Hello,
hear
everyone.
myself back.
I hear myself back. Uh,
Does somebody have their audio
I think it's
on?
an echo from
Somebody have
Emmanuel.
their audio
Yeah,
on.
Emmanuel, can you mute
Yeah,
yourself, please?
Emmanuel, can you mute yourself, please?
Thank you. All right. So, what beyond the AI Test Manager, we're actually working on developing a different app for the podcast industry, but more information on that will come once we have the MVP ready. So there's definitely a bigger picture to what we're trying to build in this broader AI ecosystem. And so the AI Test Manager, as I mentioned, is this intelligent hub that lives at AI-testmanager.pro. And there's four main capabilities that I wanted to highlight. First is the AI task generation. You can describe the project, and then the system creates a complete task breakdown with priorities, due dates, and categories. Then secondly, there's the deep integration ecosystem. This is where the platform starts to separate itself from a regular task manager, and you can connect to Slack, Gmail, Discord, Telegram, Outlook. It doesn't have to connect to all those places at once, but if you want to, you can. Most people connected to the one place that they actually work in the most. So, like, there's a lot of our global audience actually is connecting to Telegram. I had to install Telegram on my phone because I've never used it before, but I'm very familiar with like Slack, Discord, and other places, right? And then there's templates. That and workflows. So, like for example, if you have a recurring process, like a weekly planning, like a sprint planning, or content calendars, then you can just use that workflow and just keep reusing it. And then we have analytics and gamification. Users can track productivity trends, they can see the progress, they can earn badges, they can use the platform across devices because it is also very mobile responsive. I like what Michael said about not having the need to create an app because there's so many options where you can do a web responsive app. So the product is not only about creating tasks, it's about creating, capturing, tracking, and repeating work in a more cleaner environment. All right. So the journey, the user starts by entering a project description in plain language. That means instead of manually building out every step of a workflow, you can just describe the project and then you immediately get the structure plan with those tasks that I mentioned and priorities and categories, which is great because if you have like that blank page, a syndrome, it gets you started. Now, that doesn't mean that you cannot edit those initial tasks that were created, but at least it gets you started. And from there, then you can decide, okay, what gets assigned, what gets edited, what gets filtered, what gets refined. So that can save a lot of hours of just having that manual planning, especially if you're doing repetitive projects, launches, client work, and internal communications and operations. I think the most important feature of the app, though, is the integration part because This is where the app it doesn't work in isolation. So if we expect user to stop what they're doing and then open just a version of this of a different project management tool and then enter the task, and I remember like working in Asana for a different team, and it was just so painful because I had to enter every single task manually, and then I had to go back to Teams, and then I had to extract what was discussed in Teams so I can put it back in Asana. All of that was just so much wasted time back and forth. Whereas here, you can create tasks in Slack, you can create tasks in Discord, you can create tasks in an email and just send it to an email that it's very much token based for you, for your account. And then you don't have to just constantly copy and paste all of those things. So you save the money. Beyond the AI generation integration, the platform supports, like I said, repeatable templates, workflows, weekly planning follow-ups. It has an analytics dashboard, the gamification part, and then the mobile responsiveness. And then to close, the AI Task Manager is live now, and I'm going to switch screens to show you. We also have our founding circle phase open to anyone that would like to join us. It's free to join, and my call to action is just for you to go in there, try it, and connect to one place or two that you work in the most and see how it helps you and what stands out. So with that, let me make sure that I go in here. So this is what it looks like. We have our founding circle, as I mentioned, and then when you log in, let me get myself logged in here. Right. I'm gonna end the show on this other side so I can see you guys because I can't see any faces. No, I lost my screen. So anyway, this is where a bunch of the tasks that this is the dashboard, which I already had a bunch of the tasks. This integration page tells you if you're connected to all of those. But in
And is
order
this
to
just one of those where kind of like Claude, you would just say yes to the connectors and it would pull in anything that you want to pull in?
Yeah, so basically we have very specific instructions, but really you just press a button and it takes you to the place that you need to connect to. If there's anything specific about creating, like for example, the Slack, initially when I first created this, I created for a bot in Slack. And if you remember, Liz, I actually had to have you create the bot in
Yeah.
your own Slack so we connect. But no, this is no longer the setup anymore to make it easier. So somebody that's not very technical, they don't have to necessarily go and do all those settings. So instead, it's a different type of webhook integration.
And
So
then there's a
that
question in the
happens
chat.
here.
If you have a corporate Gemini LLM, can you still use this, or does it have to be like on your own?
So you don't have to worry about the LLM because that part is us feeding the generation, right? So you're not APIing into Gemini. We are basically paying for those credits that you're using, but you do have to have a Notion account, a Slack account, Telegram. We're working on a few other integrations, but like here, if you're gonna generate a task with AI, you can just put a like let's working on a demo for event tag. So let's pick something up. Normally I would assign a team, and then you have to give a few like a few prompts to this, like what this theme is about, where I give a demo of my app, whatever. And then you would have it generate the task.
Will it recommend tasks, or do you have to feed it everything you do?
Well, you would give it, like right now it tells you that the task have been created. You would give it some more prompts than what I just gave it, just because you wanted to make it specific, right? So like, for example, let's see what he added here. Working on a demo for event tag. So he created 13 active tasks. So you look at this and say, okay, does this make any sense for what I'm trying to do? And then you can assign it, a status. You can also give it a priority list. You can assign people to it. Well, that's the wrong one. Or you can delete it, be like, yeah, that's not really what I had in mind. And then you can say, okay, let's assign Anka to this task. And then she's assigned, or you can add some comments if she needs to work specifically on something. That also syncs with the calendar. So it would go to my calendar. Can be in progress or it can just be completed. But here it gave you a good amount of task. Now, how many of those apply for the specific task, depending like how much prompting I give it. Like if I'm a little bit more specific with the context, I would probably get something very specific. But right now it's so general. But even so, like it kind of give you an idea, okay, what do I need to confirm? What questions do I have to like prepare answers to anticipated questions? I know, refine demo based on feedback, blah, blah, blah. Like there's definitely a few things to get you started so that like even record a backup video of the demo in case everything crashes and burns. But it's a good starting point, and then from there you can refine it more, right? So that's that, and then you get some analytics on what did you work on, and this is the gamification part of this, where like based on how many tasks you have completed, it gives you this level. You can also see that here, like what levels you have achieved. I kind of came up with this idea because I'm like very competitive. Towards myself and others, and I need some kind of like markers to work towards, and I'm like, okay, I need to see what level I'm in, so let's do this, to add. So each task has a specific number of points, and Emmanuel can talk more about that logic. And then the templates. So like, let's just say you're like, I don't know what I want to do, like, but I want to start, I want to do a marketing campaign planner. You can just use that template, and it automatically gives you a number of task that you should start working on, and then from there you can add some more,
And
based
then
on
there's a
getting.
question, are there any plans for agentic functionality? So it's not just making a bunch of tasks for you, but it can execute on any of them?
Execute on the task, like to take it to say, just to say, you need to, I don't know, do content, calendar marketing to sync it into whatever the hub spot thing is. That the question?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Very much so, possibly. Like, right now we're at the level of wanting to get more adoption, right? And then learning from the users' usage, what do we need to spend more time on so that we can make it a better product? And if there is a request, like there's actually a place where we have a change log and a request feature. So you can actually add it as a request feature. And if that's something that comes up, then we're definitely, interested to look into it. Now, this is my
Back on the
admin.
Gemini one, so you said it doesn't matter about the LLM, but if they work for a company where they have to use their own internal one, is that something that
Um, let's Emmanuel, let's see, is there something that we can do where they actually integrate their API?
Yeah, by default, we're actually using OpenAI, but we can actually impute their LLM into the platform specifically for just that user.
Okay, so I guess the answer is yes.
awesome? Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Anka. That was it does everything. That's a lot. And it has definitely evolved since last September. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love it. Okay, I will take off all the spotlights and let everybody hear. Anybody has questions about any of our three experiences? So we have Highbar, we have virtual experiences, and we have the AI task creator. Any additional questions that didn't get answered?
Can you remind us, Anka, how we get into this early phase of trial?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put a link in the chat, and then you can follow the founding circle or just
That's
sign
what
up
it
for
was.
it. Either or of those places would work.
Cool.
And yeah, give it a spin.
Perfect. Well, I will drop in the Slack channel how to get in touch with all three of our presenters today and their websites and all the information that we need. Thank you all for joining us, and we will get this up on our YouTube channel probably by tomorrow. Thank you all. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Thanks all for being here. See you next
Thanks for
time.
having us.
Thank you,
Bye.
Liz. Thank you
Bye.
all.